Welcome to Ken's Corner Podcast, Season 4.
This is Ken Judge from Ken's Corner Podcast, and today we're in sadly our last panel of the season. We all know the outcome of that second round for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're going to cover a bunch of things here today, and a little bit about the NHL while we're at it, and test our knowledge on what's going on in the playoffs, and even if we're still watching it at all. Anyway, let's roll call it. George out there in Calgary, Phil and Whitby. I'm going to pinpoint you, Phil. And and Joe right next door to me here in Stouffville. Welcome to the panel today, guys.
Hello.
I think out west, Northwest is having nicer weather than us. I heard Northwest Territories is like 30 degrees this week. Unbelievable, eh? And here we are, can't even break 15.
Oh, we're pretty high up there too. It's nice and hot outside today.
Yeah, well, we're having hockey weather without hockey now. I don't know. It was all right last week, but not so nice this week. Anyway, guys, let's get into what we're doing here today. And Phil, we're going to let you start your thoughts on the end of that second round. Was that enough for you, or did that leave a bad taste in your mouth like it did Keith Pelly and the Leaf brass, the ownership of MSLE?
You know, if we had went out in Game 7 with a better performance, I would have felt better about it. Let's be realistic. We weren't making the playoffs. That's unacceptable. We start making the playoffs. We start losing in the first round. That's unacceptable. We lose in 5 games in the second round. I get that. You know what I mean? They end up going on to win the Stanley Cup. Now we push that Stanley Cup reigning champion to 7 games in the second round. It's a small step forward. Obviously, it's not everything that we want, but it's still an improvement over what we have been doing.
Yeah, I'm going to correct myself. That's MLSE. I believe I didn't say that right. Joe, I'm going to introduce a little bit of glass half empty for you here. Surprise, surprise. The Leafs actually in 2022 took the same Florida Panthers to 7 games and only scored 1 goal in that game 7. While they didn't win, lost. It wasn't a very good loss as well. Now, is this just like wash, rinse, repeat, or is it time to let's move on from this core 4?
Yeah, I don't want to hear core 4 ever again, and I don't think we're going to have to worry about hearing that. Yeah, I mean, it's a business. The business is about winning, and they haven't. They've had 10 years, 10 years of the same. I mean, most teams would kill to have 4 amazing players like the Leafs had for so many years, lacking the killer instinct when it counted. I'm sorry. They just didn't have the dagger. They didn't have that extra little bit. I mean, you see Florida's an amazing team. Look what they're doing to Carolina. They're just dusting them like they're just a nuisance. So, I mean, Florida's good, but the Leafs, you build up a 2-0 lead, and that game 3 loss in overtime was just, who knew how important that would be to switch momentum, and it certainly did.
Yeah. George, now, are you watching this Florida Panther? I mean, you're probably not watching the games, but seeing the outcomes of these games and saying, wow, we almost got that. We could have been there. Or are you saying, you know what, we play the teams that we play and the division that we play in, and now we've got to get better? Because let's remember, a few years ago, before Florida actually made it, and you know what, if they make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, they match Edmonton Oilers of the 80s for 3 consecutive years of making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Now, the trade that Bill Zito, the manager of the Florida Panthers, made was trading his best left winger, who had 70 assists that year, Huberdeau, and you might know these guys because they play for the Calgary Flames, and Mackenzie Weegar, his best defenseman, arguably, for Matthew Knies. And look where they went. They went on this run. They won the Stanley Cup. Does Toronto need to do something like this, or what do you think?
Sorry about that. Well, that was a long-winded question there, Ken. So I'm going to start off for saying they really knew what they were doing when they took out Stolarz, because Stolarz was Bobrovsky's nemesis. So they really knew what they were doing. And it's, not giving Wool enough time or any games before the playoffs, that really showed. Now we're talking about Tkachuk. I don't like Tkachuk at all, and that's a given.
No, I don't mean Tkachuk in general. I mean, do the Leafs have to make a move? I guess I'm aiming at Marner. Do we have to move off of Marner, or do we sign Marner? Or maybe move off of one of the other guys.
Oh, you're being like Joe, aiming at my guy there. So I get this. Now, I mean, like we've all said, the media and Leafs Nation, they're trying to get rid of Marner. Do I want Marner to go? No, I don't want Marner to go. But if he does go, I don't blame him. Will we get good guys for him? I think so.
No,
And go.
Not unless it's a sign and trade. I mean, that's out there on the board right now.
If he does come to Calgary, I'll be watching him here.
Mm-hmm. I have this feeling that Las Vegas is going to be deeply involved in what's going on with that. And maybe Colorado. I have heard the Calgary connection, but I'm not sure. I mean, if it's about the money, maybe anywhere he can get that 14, 15 million. Joe, my question for you is, Stolar, George, as George just mentioned, he got taken out. It changed the trajectory of this series. Do you think he would have made a difference at all compared to what the Florida Panthers sent at the Leafs?
Yeah.
Well, he can't score goals, and the Leafs certainly didn't do that in the crucial time. That being said, momentum switched. A horrible non-call. I have no idea how that wasn't a penalty, but we can go over that a million times. What upsets me more is why we didn't take out Bobrovsky. You tell me Wendell Clark in his heyday, Gilmore, those guys, if they'd have taken out Felix Potvin, by the end of that game, their goalie's going out too. And we didn't do that because we don't have the type of players that can do that. And that's the problem. We should have, how we let that one go and just let it slide speaks volumes as to why we were not ready to compete against the Florida Panthers. That was unacceptable, in my opinion, and the Leafs should be ashamed of themselves for not taking a run at Bobrovsky. In fact, when it counted, they were nowhere near the crease.
Mm-hmm. There was no answer to what happened. You are definitely right about that. I mean, a couple of years ago, Tavares took that knee to the head, and what happened on the next play? Mike Foligno rung up Corey Perry. So there was a bit of an answer there, and we didn't have that type of play or player.
Marcus Foligno. Mike Foligno would have been in the nursing home, but Marcus Foligno.
I mean that type of player. Bill, your thoughts on John Tavares? Is he going to sign a team-friendly deal, and we're going to see some more of John Tavares maybe on the third line? Can he come back and get anywhere close to that 38 goals next season?
I mean, if we can get that production out of him for less money, sure, it's a good signing. He's got a fantastic face-off percentage. He's one of the best in the league, which obviously comes in handy. But I think the shakeup is already in motion. I'm going to say that Marner is probably not going to re-sign when he's going to have, like you said, Vegas, in my opinion, Pittsburgh, Dubas throwing money at him to go and play with Crosby. He's going to have options. And I mean, he's had his time here. It didn't work or whatever. But as far as Tavares, if he's willing to sign for a lot less money and play on a lower line to allow us to bring in some of these free agents, maybe a Brock Besser, maybe a Nikolai Ehlers, maybe a Bennett. You know what I mean? There are some guys out there, obviously, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Bennett might be David Clarkson 2.0. You might be walking into something there, a 7-year deal for a guy that scores 51 points.
Now, one thing I want to say about the Stolarz Bennett issue, and us not retaliating back on Bobrovsky is Bennett actually went out there and did that job for us, trying to take out Domi, and ended up elbowing Bobrovsky in the head. And lo and behold, Bobrovsky was fine. If that had been a Maple Leaf player, I guaranteed he would have acted like his neck was snapped and he would have been flailing all over the ice like a soccer player.
Mhm. George, I think you're next up, and we're going to talk about our captain, Austin Matthews. He said that he did sustain an injury at training camp. I mean, Joe was questioning it all season. There must be something wrong with him. He still scored 33 goals. Are you expecting a bigger season? I mean, let's face it, Marner's probably going to leave. Is he going to be able to get back towards that 50-goal plateau without a guy, elite passer like Marner playing with him?
Yeah, I do believe I like Matthews. He's a captain, and this was his first year of being a captain, I believe. And he did a good job over the whole 200 feet. And I believe, Domi moves up into his line. Domi's a good passer. He could. He's an elite player. He's gonna get his goals.
Mm-hmm. Joe, your question is about Morgan Rielly. What are we going to do? We're going to continue paying Morgan Rielly $7.5 million for the next 5 years, or should Brad Treliving go ask Morgan for his list of teams? Vancouver, hint, hint. Who knows what we could get back? Maybe we can pull off an Elias Peterson or one of them Petersons over there. I don't know.
No.
Your thoughts on Morgan Rielly moving forward?
So, Georgie, I love me some Mitch Marner. I, love the guy. I wasn't even mad when they lost. I was sad because I knew this was the end. I knew this was the end for Shanahan. I knew it was the end for Marner at least. Probably Tavares as well, unless his number comes in under 5 and he moves down to the third line or goes to the wing. And I was just sad because there was Marner's a great player. I would have loved to see him put us over the top into the next round. That was, it didn't happen, but I knew the writing was on the wall. Too much of a similar type style on one team doesn't get it done. So if I was now Treliving, I'd be having conversations with every player, Matthews, Nylander, especially Morgan Rielly, and saying, in the event we had an opportunity, would you be interested in a fresh start? And if so, give me a list of teams and we'll see. See where their head's at. They're going to say in front of the public, oh, yeah, I want to be a Maple Leaf, blah, blah, blah. Mitch Marner, I think it's best for him to move on. He's, for some reason, public enemy number 1 with the fans, and I don't agree with that. I really hope they don't boo him when he comes back. He's a spectacular player. It's just he tried. He wasn't
Probably going to win the cup somewhere.
He might, and I hope he does, right? He's a great talent. There's no question about it. It just isn't going to happen here with the current mix of players. Nylander was a dog the last 4 or 5 games. He was horrible. Sorry. Morgan Rielly, defensively, I could play better. Sorry. He should be asked to go. And Austin Matthews, where's your heart? Where is your head at? Just talk about, do you want to be here and do you want to lead this team? If you do, that's great. If you're interested in going to Arizona or somewhere else, let us know and we'll work.
It take them a couple of years to get to Arizona before they're back there, but I totally understand what you're getting.
Nothing should be off the table. Nothing.
Phil, should we bring back Steve Lorentz? Should we re-sign Nick Robertson?
Steve Lorentz was an absolute dog in these playoffs. He was hounding the puck. He was throwing his body around. If this guy is going to play the 60 or 70 whatever games that he played for us in the regular season and might get 6 goals, maybe 13 points over that season, but he plays like that in the playoffs, you have to have that on your team. You have to. That guy was all over the ice. He was doing everything that he was asked for. Now, talking about some of the other guys, Robertson, and he got his chance. He came in, he scored a goal, and everyone called it a meaningless goal in a game that we were getting blown out. But like Matthew said, I kind of gotta agree. Way too many passengers. Matthew was a passenger for some of those games as well. Although he was playing a great 200-foot game, you can't have the point production from your captain and from your all-star, from your elite goal scorer that he was able to produce. The fact of the matter is Yarncroc, Holmberg, Lawton, McMahon, 0 goals. 3 points, 2 points, 1 point, 1 point. You need heroes. You need guys that are going to step up each and every game. We just didn't have that depth.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some changes. I don't even know if Robertson wants to be here the way that he's in and out of the lineup. So
But saying that, George, do we move on from Holmberg and Camp as well in the Yarncroc?
Oh, let's see what's out there. Yeah, if there's something there, definitely let's go for it.
How do we move away from these guys, Joe? How do we
Give us a couple of bags of pucks and some tape and see if they ever take their contract. Absolutely useless. Yarn Crockley, you cut me up, Ken, all year long for cutting up Cali Yarn Croc. Please tell me what he brings to the table. I didn't see anything.
Play a good defensive game on the
No,
line.
he doesn't. Crap, I don't want that.
I didn't mind him too much in that line, but
$2.5 million a year.
$2.1 million. No, he didn't bring what we want, and we all know Patches is probably retiring. So
Camp's going to get bought out. You can bank on that one. David Camp played 2 games in the playoffs? Did he even play that? He was useless. See you later. Use that money elsewhere.
What about Yanni Hockenpah? You got $1.4 million for 2 games.
Jesus Christ. Didn't see one game.
Let's talk about something that's positive, Joe, and everyone can chime in here. We'll start with Joe, then Phil, and George. I won't even mention your names. Okay, Joe, Matthew Knies. What is he signed for? What are we looking at? Is it 7? Is it 9? Is it where are we? What do you want?
Well, I mean, I want an 8-year deal at $8 million per. That would be great, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's probably looking at a 3-year deal at probably 7, 8, just to get him started, and then big bucks would come after that. He's who we build the team around. There's no question in my mind. Unfortunately, he got hurt the last couple of games. I don't think he was 100%. But, neither was Tkachuk. Tkachuk was a non-factor that whole playoff series. Imagine if that guy was flying in on his game. He was basically just a placeholder. So we kind of got a bit of a break there. But no, I think Matthew Knies, if you can get him on a 3 to 5 year deal at $8 million per, why not? He's worth it.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, so a lot of the numbers that I'm seeing out there is Knies is probably going to be looking for a 3 to 5 year deal, a bridge deal, obviously for as much money as what he can possibly get. I'm hearing anywhere from 7 to 9 million. The team obviously wants to try to lock this guy up as long term as possible, and they're hoping between 6 and 8 years, preferably at a lower number. But let's be realistic, it's probably going to be upwards of 8.5, maybe even $9 million. Is he worth it? 100%. The kid's he's young, he's huge, he's a power forward. He's one of 3 guys that had 25 goals and over 150 hits in the NHL. You know what I mean? Like, he's a unicorn. So he's kind of homegrown here. So let's keep him here. He wants to be here. And he's playing with his buddy Matthews and stuff. So I think he's absolutely worth the money.
100%. I'm not everything Phil said. Matthew Knies is a power forward. He's a big guy. He's not afraid to get in there, and then he's not afraid to stick up for his teammates. Yeah, we give him what he needs and keep him around.
Yeah, I agree. Maybe a nice shiny A on his jersey as well. Joe, the Shanaplan is done. We don't need to really touch on that too much. He did bring a lot of different things to Toronto, like the Legends Row and the alumni getting back together. So there was some good things from the Shanahan times. Your thoughts on a bigger role, apparently, going to Treliving and to the head coach, Craig Berube?
I think for now, I think the front office for the Leafs is the largest in the NHL. They're pretty top heavy. And I think maybe he's going to take this year to evaluate. I have no idea what the workload for Shanahan was. He did some tremendous things as far as the alumni and getting the fan interaction. But I know one of one of Pelly's biggest complaints was the crowd was too quiet. And how do we change that culture to get them where when we're at home, the crowd becomes an extra player. So that's going to be something that's Tree Living is going to be tasked with. Let's give them a year and see how it goes. I like the fact that Berube is going to have the more say in the type of player that he wants to play his system. I think that makes sense. And I think we'll give it a year and then we'll see if it ends up being something like, no, we need another person to oversee. Because I don't think Keith Pelly, I mean, he's got a lot of irons in the fire, right? So I don't think he's going to be coming into the office at Scotiabank every day and focusing just on the Leafs like Shanahan did. Shanahan was at every game, every practice. And so we'll see.
Okay, so we're going on to our thoughts on the Stanley Cup that's about to come soon. But we all know Florida is steamrolling Carolina, and that series already looks done. It's 3-0. Last time I looked, Edmonton was up 2-0 in the game against Dallas. And somehow at this time of year, although Stuart Skinner can't seem to stop a puck during the season in early playoff rounds, apparently he knows how to stop a puck when it gets later in the playoffs. And you know what? Last night, Listerrainen with that hit from behind might see a suspension that might lead into that Stanley Cup Finals. Sam Bennett is injured. They also lost a defenseman last night as well. Anyone remember? Anyway, so Florida, pardon me?
I don't remember what.
The Florida Panther that was injured last night.
Oh yeah, he got taken out too close to the boards, went down, cracked his shoulder. It was dangling like a
Yeah,
fish.
that was Mikala.
Yeah. He went off like a. It didn't look good anyway.
He's
I know he's
expected to be
coming
okay.
back.
He's expected to be back. He's like 6'8" and massive, that guy.
Yeah, but that shoulder was hanging below his knee. I know that feeling from a football injury.
Says he's going to be okay and he's returning, so I don't know.
I guess my questions are, we'll start with George and then Phil and Joe. We are getting close to the end here. Is this the year that Edmonton can finally win it for Canada? With these injuries coming down from Florida, can Edmonton get over the hump and win the Stanley Cup? We'll start with you, George.
My buddy won't like it, but I'm still hoping for Dallas. I still want Dallas to win. That was my choice at the start of the season. I'm still want them to win. I think they can steamroll for Florida.
Bill?
I mean, if they beat Dallas, then absolutely, I think that they can beat Florida. They were within a shot of beating them last year, so why couldn't they do it this year if Florida's this banged up? Yeah, I think that they absolutely could.
Are they going to beat Dallas?
I mean, if they can continue scoring at the pace that they are, then I think for sure they got a split in Dallas. They're back in Edmonton now. They're winning this game 2-0. And last time it was checked, I mean, if they win both games at home, then as far as I'm concerned, it's over. You know what I mean? But I think they've got a damn good chance at beating Dallas.
Yeah, it's still 2-0. And Joe, your thoughts?
Dallas got lucky. Evander King came back and totally changed the complexion of that team, and they've not been the same team ever since. Edmonton is on a roll. I would love to see Connor McDavid win a cup and have the Stanley Cup back to Edmonton. I think they deserve it. Sorry, Georgie, but I also think that Florida has got this way of just shutting them down. So it's going to be an interesting series. And it might be battle of attrition. Who stays healthy? If God forbid, Draisaitl or McDavid go down.
Yeah, you know what? My thoughts this whole playoffs is how do you really bet against David and Draisaitl? But
And
when it comes to
goaltending,
the
right?
finals,
That's the
how do
scary
you?
question.
Yeah, and
Bobrovsky
how do you
versus
bet
Skinner.
against Bobrovsky in the finals?
Yeah.
It's going to be a heck of a finals.
If I was a betting man, I'd say Florida is going to win.
This is the year. I wish luck to George's friend and all the Edmonton Oiler fans of Canada. For the first time, I'm okay with Toronto not bringing home that first win, and maybe Edmonton can bring it home. Thanks, guys. Last question before we get off here. If there's one player, or maybe there's just no one in this free agent period, who do you want to see the Leafs bring in? Phil, give me one player or no.
Um, Brock Besser. I think he'd play well with Matthews and Knies.
Joe.
Hmm. I'd like to see what Sam Bennett could do, or Aaron Ekblad, those two.
And George.
Oh, let's bring the rat in, the ant, the nemesis. Let's bring in Marchand.
You know what? I think that's
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but
you know what? I think that's more of a possibility than Bennett, to be honest. But yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for all your time this season. Thanks for all our guys, Gord, Ian, JT. Who am I missing? Paul Hendrick coming on all the time. Otis from Sports Talk in the six. Our buddy Frank down there in Tampa Bay. Sorry, you came to the same fate as us this year. I'm looking forward to my burger because we still beat you this season. And guys, we're gonna come back right after free agent frenzy, and we'll see what we brought, and we'll analyze our Leaf team moving forward and our thoughts from that point and what maybe we should do. Thank you all for showing up here today again. George out there in Calgary, Phil and Whippy, Joe here in Stowell. I'm Ken Judge from Ken's Corner Podcast, and this is the panel. Thanks, guys.